Have you ever walked into a room and just stopped? You stand there, in the middle of the floor, the reason you came in completely evaporated, like a wisp of smoke. You know you had a purpose, a clear intention just moments before, but now, nothing. Just a frustrating, hollow blankness. Or maybe it happens mid-sentence. You're telling a story to your grandchild, a memory you cherish, and suddenly the name of a dear old friend, a place you visited 100 times, is just gone. It's on the tip of your tongue, a phantom word you can feel but can't grasp. Your loved one looks at you, waiting patiently, and in that small silence, a wave of cold dread washes over you. It's more than just a simple slip of the mind. It's a feeling of betrayal by your own brain. This is brain fog, and if you're over 60, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that feeling of mental molasses. The difficulty concentrating on a good book, the struggle to follow a complex conversation, the nagging sense that you're just not as sharp as you used to be. And the world around us often dismisses it with a casual, "Oh, that's just a normal part of getting older." But I am here today to tell you, with absolute conviction, that this is not a life sentence. It is not your inevitable fate. That feeling of losing your edge, of your vibrant inner world slowly fading behind a haze, is not something you simply have to accept. What if I told you that the key to cutting through that fog, to reclaiming your mental clarity, isn't some complicated program or expensive supplement, but something remarkably simple? Something you can add to your diet starting today. In this video, we're going to talk about one specific powerful food that new research shows can directly combat the root causes of brain fog. We will uncover exactly how it works, why it's so effective, and how you can use it to feel sharper, clearer, and more like yourself again. So please, stay with me. The clarity you've been missing could be closer than you think. That feeling I just described, it's unsettling, isn't it? It can make you question your own capabilities and feel isolated in your struggle. But please know, you are not alone in this, and you are in the right place. We believe that understanding is the first and most critical step toward taking back control. And because this is a journey we are truly on together, I want to invite you to become part of our growing community right now. If you're finding value here and you believe in proactive health, take a moment to click that subscribe button. It's more than just a button, it's a way of saying, I'm in this for the long haul. And one more thing, if you feel comfortable, go down to the comment section and share one thing with me. What is the most frustrating part of brain fog for you? Is it misplacing your keys? Is it losing your train of thought? Your story matters, and sharing it not only helps others feel less alone, but it guides me in creating the content you truly need. Now, let's begin. To understand how one simple food can make such a profound difference, we first have to understand the primary, hidden enemy it fights against. The true villain behind that mental haze. So, what is this invisible force that clouds our thinking? It's a process happening deep within our bodies, one that doctors and scientists now recognize as a root cause of so many age-related ailments. The first silent threat we need to unmask is chronic, low-grade inflammation. Now, when you hear the word inflammation, you probably think of something obvious. A twisted ankle that swells up and turns red. A cut on your finger that gets puffy and tender as your body rushes to heal it. That's acute inflammation, and it's a good thing. It's your body's vibrant, powerful emergency response system. But the inflammation I'm talking about is different. It's quieter, sneakier. Imagine your body has a small, smoldering fire burning deep inside. It's not a big, roaring blaze that sets off alarms. It's a slow, persistent burn, like embers in a campfire that never quite go out. This is chronic inflammation. It doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. It lingers for months, even years, silently damaging tissues and disrupting the delicate balance of our internal systems. And one of the places most vulnerable to this smoldering fire is your brain. Your brain is protected by a remarkable shield called the blood-brain barrier. Think of it as the most exclusive gatekeeper in the world. It's a tightly woven network of cells that meticulously controls what gets from your bloodstream into your brain's pristine environment. It lets in the good stuff, oxygen, nutrients, glucose, and keeps out the bad, toxins, pathogens, and other harmful substances. But chronic inflammation weakens this gatekeeper. The persistent, low-level inflammatory signals coursing through your body cause the gaps in this barrier to loosen. It becomes less of a tightly sealed fortress and more like a flimsy, porous screen. When this happens, inflammatory molecules and other things that have no business being there can sneak into the brain. Once inside, they create chaos. Imagine trying to have a very important, quiet conversation while someone is playing a radio full of static right next to your ear. That's what this inflammation does to your brain cells, your neurons. It disrupts their ability to communicate with each other, creating neural noise that slows down your processing speed. It's why retrieving a memory can feel like trying to find a specific book in a library during a mild earthquake. Everything is just a little bit shaken up, a little bit out of place. This biological static is the very essence of brain fog. It's not you losing your mind. It's your brain's communication lines being gummed up by a physical process. And you can feel this process in your body, can't you? It's that pervasive itchiness in your joints when you wake up. It's the stiffness that makes bending down to tie your shoes feel like a major project. It's a general sense of fatigue that sleep doesn't seem to fix. When your body feels like it's walking through water, it is no surprise at all that your thoughts feel that way too. So, how do we start to put out this fire? This brings us to our hero food, the humble walnut. Why walnuts? Because they are one of nature's richest plant-based sources of a specific type of omega-3 fatty acid called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. Your body uses ALA as a foundational building block to create powerful, natural anti-inflammatory compounds. Think of ALA as the raw material for your body's own internal fire department. When you eat walnuts, you are essentially supplying your body with the resources it needs to manufacture tiny little fire extinguishers that travel through your bloodstream and help to cool down that chronic, smoldering inflammation. A single handful of walnuts a day, about a quarter of a cup, provides you with a potent dose of this brain-protecting ALA. This simple act begins to dial down the inflammatory static, helping to tighten the seals on your blood-brain barrier and quiet the noise, allowing your neurons to talk to each other more clearly. This is step 1, dousing the flames. So, we've begun to quell the inflammatory fire that disrupts our brain's communication. But what about the communicators themselves? The individual brain cells, the neurons, that do all the heavy lifting of thinking, feeling, and remembering. The second profound way that walnuts sharpen your mind is by directly fortifying the structure of these vital brain cells. Think of your brain as the most intricate electrical grid imaginable, with billions upon billions of wires. Each wire is a neuron, carrying electrical signals that form your thoughts and memories. Now, just like any electrical wire in your home, each neuron needs a protective coating and insulation to work properly. This insulation ensures the electrical signal travels quickly and efficiently from one point to another without getting lost or fizzling out. In your brain, this crucial insulation is the neuron's outer membrane. And here is the astonishing part. This membrane is made almost entirely of fat. What this means is that the very structure, the physical integrity of your brain cells, is built directly from the fats you eat. You are, quite literally, building your brain with your diet. This is where the quality of fats becomes non-negotiable. If you build your neuron membranes with the wrong kinds of fats, the heavy, saturated, and trans fats found in many processed foods, fried foods, and baked goods, it's like trying to insulate a high-tech wire with brittle, old, cracked rubber. The membrane becomes stiff and rigid. Signals struggle to get through. The communication slows down. Receptors on the cell surface that are meant to receive messages don't work as well. This stiffness is a physical reality that manifests as mental slowness. Have you ever experienced that? You're trying to follow the steps of a new recipe. You read the instruction, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and you turn to the counter. In that 2-second span, the instruction vanishes. You have to turn back and read it again. And maybe a third time. It feels like a short circuit. The signal just didn't make it from your eyes to your hand. That frustrating little gap is, on a microscopic level, a sign of inefficient neural communication. It's a signal struggling to pass through a stiff, unaccommodating membrane. Now, let's look at the alternative. When you provide your body with healthy, flexible fats like the omega-3s so abundant in walnuts, it's like using brand new, top-of-the-line, flexible insulation. The fats from walnuts are incorporated into your neuron membranes, making them fluid and supple. This fluidity is everything. It allows the cell to change shape, to receive messages effortlessly, and to pass signals along at lightning speed. The omega-3 ALA from walnuts gets converted in your body to other fatty acids, particularly DHA, which is the single most abundant fat in the brain. Your brain is desperate for this stuff. It is the premium building material for thought. Giving your brain walnuts is like a construction manager receiving a shipment of the highest grade materials. Your body knows exactly what to do with it. Send it straight to the brain to patch up old wiring and build new, stronger connections. So, that daily handful of walnuts isn't just a fire extinguisher, it's a repair kit. It is actively reinforcing the physical stuff your thoughts are made of. The simple act of choosing walnuts as a snack instead of a bag of chips or a cookie is a direct investment in the structural quality of your mind. You are choosing flexible communication over rigid static. You are choosing quick connections over short circuits. Imagine the satisfaction of that. Knowing that as you enjoy that crunchy, satisfying snack, you are quite literally rebuilding your brain for the better. You are laying down the physical groundwork for clearer thoughts, quicker recall, and a more resilient mind. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's biology. But protecting individual cells and their wiring is just one part of the equation. For a truly dynamic mind, these cells don't just need to be strong. They need to form new relationships, create new pathways, and adapt to new information. This remarkable ability to change and grow is the very foundation of learning and memory. So we are calming the inflammation with our daily walnuts, and we are using their magnificent fats to rebuild stronger, more flexible neuron membranes. This is fantastic groundwork. But a healthy brain isn't static. It's not just a well-preserved library of old information. A truly sharp, vibrant mind is one that is constantly learning, adapting, and growing. This brings us to the third incredible benefit: enhancing your brain's natural plasticity. Neuroplasticity might sound like a complicated scientific term, but the idea behind it is beautifully simple. It means your brain is not hardwired like a machine. It's more like a living, breathing garden. With the right care, you can always cultivate new pathways, grow new connections, and prune old ones. This ability to rewire itself is the physical basis of all learning and memory. Imagine you're walking through a dense, overgrown field. The first time you try to cross, you have to push through tall grass and weeds. It's slow and difficult. But if you walk that same path every day, you begin to tread down the grass. A faint trail appears. After a week, it's a clear path. After a month, it's a well-worn track you can walk down with ease. This is exactly how your brain forms a memory or learns a new skill. The first time you try, the signal between the neurons is weak, like that first walk through the tall grass. But every time you repeat the action or recall the memory, the connection between those specific brain cells gets stronger, faster, and more efficient. The pathway becomes permanent. The problem is, as we age, our brain's natural ability to create these new paths can slow down. It can feel like the ground is harder, the weeds are thicker, and it takes more effort to forge a new trail. You've felt this, I'm sure. Perhaps it was when you got a new smartphone and had to learn how to video chat with your grandkids. The first few times, it felt clumsy and frustrating. Finding the right buttons, remembering the sequence of taps, it felt impossible. You might have even thought, I'm just not built for this stuff. But then you kept trying. You persevered because connecting with your family was important. And one day, almost like magic, you picked up the phone and made the call without even thinking about it. Your fingers knew just where to go. That feeling of, it finally clicked, was the feeling of neuroplasticity in action. You successfully carved a new, permanent pathway in your brain. Here is where the walnuts come in again, playing a profoundly supportive role. They contain compounds that act like fertilizer for your brain's garden. Beyond the omega-3s, walnuts are packed with powerful antioxidants and polyphenol. These nutrients work together to boost the production of a miraculous protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. BDNF is one of the most exciting molecules in all of neuroscience. Think of it as miracle grow for your neurons. It actively encourages the growth of new brain cells and new connections, or synapses. It's the very substance that makes it easier to tread down that new path in the field. When BDNF levels are high, your brain is in a prime state for learning and growth. The ground is softer, the weeds are cleared, and forging new connections feels less like a struggle and more like an exciting exploration. So, when you eat your daily handful of walnuts, you are not just passively protecting your brain. You are actively sending it the key ingredient it needs to grow, adapt, and stay engaged. You're giving it the tools to make learning that new hobby, remembering the name of that new neighbor, or mastering that new recipe just a little bit easier. This is why it's a two-part equation. The walnuts provide the miracle grow, but you still have to do the gardening. You have to challenge your brain. Combine your daily walnuts with an activity that creates a new path. It doesn't have to be monumental. Do a crossword puzzle. Read a book on a topic you know nothing about. Listen to a new genre of music and try to pick out the instruments. Try to drive home from the grocery store via a different route. Each small challenge, fueled by the right nutrition, keeps your garden of a mind fertile and flourishing. We've covered a lot of ground. We're fighting inflammation, rebuilding our neuron walls for better signaling, and boosting our brain's miracle grow to keep it learning and adapting. Now, we must address the final piece of this internal protection strategy: defending our precious brain cells from the relentless, daily process of cellular aging. This fourth key benefit is shielding your brain from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is another one of those scientific-sounding phrases, but the concept is something you see every day. Have you ever cut an apple open and left it on the counter? Within minutes, the crisp white flesh begins to turn brown. Or think of an old iron gate left out in the rain. Over time, it develops spots of orange rust. That browning and that rusting is oxidation. It's a slow, steady breakdown caused by exposure to oxygen. A very similar process is happening inside every cell of your body, and especially in your brain. As your body goes about its business, turning food into energy, breathing, moving, it creates unstable molecules called free radicals. You can think of these free radicals as tiny, wild sparks flying off a roaring fireplace. While the fire itself is good and provides essential warmth and energy, these errant sparks can fly out and burn holes in the rug, the furniture, or anything else they touch. Your brain is the most energy-hungry organ in your body. Despite being only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes a staggering 20% of your oxygen and calories. It is a metabolic furnace, burning hot 24 hours a day, even when you sleep. Because of this incredible energy production, your brain is a massive factory for these free radical sparks. This constant bombardment of free radicals puts your brain cells under enormous oxidative stress. Over a lifetime, the accumulated damage from these tiny sparks can be immense. It's like that slow, creeping rust. It degrades cell membranes, damages DNA, and interferes with the delicate machinery inside our neurons. This steady, microscopic wear and tear contributes directly to cognitive decline. It's a major reason why our mental processing can feel a bit slower, a bit more tired, as the years go by. Have you ever had a day so mentally taxing that by the evening, you feel completely spent? A day filled with complicated paperwork, or a difficult family conversation, or just too much information coming at you at once. At the end of that day, your brain doesn't just feel metaphorically tired. It is biochemically exhausted from having to fight off the surge of oxidative stress created by all that mental effort. That feeling of being unable to make one more decision is the feeling of your brain's defense systems being temporarily overwhelmed. This is where the antioxidants in walnuts become our frontline heroes. Antioxidants are nature's perfect answer to free radicals. They are stable molecules that can safely absorb and neutralize the wild sparks before they can do any harm. They are the fire screen that keeps the sparks contained, the protective coating that prevents the rust. And walnuts are an absolute powerhouse of antioxidants. They don't just contain one type, they contain a unique, synergistic team of them. They are rich in a special form of vitamin E, called gamma-tocopherol, which has been shown to be particularly protective for the brain. They also contain melatonin, yes, the hormone that helps you sleep, which also happens to be a potent antioxidant that can easily cross the blood-brain barrier. And they are loaded with a class of plant compounds called polyphenol, which not only act as antioxidants themselves but also help reduce inflammation. It is this potent cocktail of different antioxidants working together that makes walnuts so special. When you eat them, you are sending in a highly skilled, multifaceted cleanup and protection crew. They patrol your brain, mopping up the dangerous free radicals, reinforcing your cells against rust and decay, and preserving your precious mental energy. So, that daily habit is more than just a snack. It's an act of preservation. It's a way of protecting the incredible, complex machinery of your mind from the inevitable wear and tear of a long and well-lived life, ensuring it runs more smoothly for years to come. We have constructed a formidable fortress for our mind. We are extinguishing the fires of inflammation, rebuilding the walls of our neurons, fertilizing the garden of learning, and shielding our cells from the rust of aging. But even the most brilliant, well-defended fortress is useless if its supply lines are cut off. The fifth and final way that a daily handful of walnuts sharpens your memory is by maintaining the vital highways of blood flow to the brain. Your brain, for all its complexity, has a very simple, non-negotiable demand: a constant, uninterrupted flow of oxygen-rich blood. This blood flow is everything. It's the delivery truck that brings in the oxygen and all the wonderful nutrients we've been talking about: the omega-3s, the antioxidants, the glucose for energy. It's also the sanitation service that removes the metabolic waste products, including some of the triggers for inflammation. Think of your circulatory system, your arteries and blood vessels, as the intricate network of roads, highways, and tiny side streets that lead to and nourish every neighborhood of your brain. When these roads are wide, clear, and flexible, traffic flows smoothly. Your brain gets everything it needs, exactly when it needs it. As we get older, however, these highways can start to show their age. Just like a real road, they can become stiff and narrow. The smooth, flexible lining of our arteries, called the endothelium, can become damaged and less pliable. Plaque can build up, like a permanent traffic jam, restricting flow. This condition, known as atherosclerosis, is incredibly common, and it has a direct impact on brain function. When blood flow to the brain is even slightly compromised, the consequences are immediate. It's like trying to run a bustling city with only half the necessary delivery trucks. Things slow down. Your brain cells don't get the fuel they need to operate at peak capacity. This is why conditions that affect blood flow, like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, are so closely linked to cognitive impairment and brain fog. You can feel the effects of this in a very real way. Have you ever stood up too quickly and felt a moment of dizziness or seen stars? That brief, woozy feeling is a momentary lack of blood flow to your head. Now, imagine a much milder, chronic version of that happening all day long. Not enough to make you dizzy, but just enough to make your thinking feel sluggish. Just enough to make concentration feel like a chore. It's a subtle but persistent state of undernourishment. It's your brain running on fumes instead of a full tank of premium fuel. This is where the unique properties of walnuts come to the rescue one last time, in a way that is profoundly important. The ALA omega-3s and other compounds in walnuts, particularly an amino acid called L-arginine, work wonders on the health of our blood vessels. L-arginine is used by the body to produce a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a master vasodilator, which is a fancy way of saying it's a natural blood vessel relaxer. When nitric oxide is present in the lining of your arteries, it signals the smooth muscles to relax and widen. This is like sending out a signal to instantly add more lanes to your highways. The roads become wider, the traffic flows freely, and more life-giving blood can reach every corner of your brain. By improving the flexibility and function of your artery linings, improving what's called endothelial function, walnuts help maintain healthy blood pressure and ensure that robust circulation continues. This simple act of eating a handful of walnuts a day helps to keep your brain's supply lines open, clear, and efficient. It ensures that all the other benefits we've discussed can actually reach their destination. It's no use having a truck full of premium building materials, omega-3s, and Miracle-Gro, BDNF, if the roads are blocked. Maintaining healthy blood flow is the final, critical step that ties everything together. It ensures your brain is not just protected and defended, but also consistently and lavishly nourished, allowing it to function at its absolute best. This is the foundation upon which all other brain health rests. So, let's just pause and reflect on the journey we've taken together in this video. We started with a feeling, that frustrating, sometimes frightening, fog that can descend upon our thoughts and steal our confidence. We acknowledged the fear that it's an inevitable decline we just have to accept. But then, we chose to look deeper. We chose to seek out an answer. And what we discovered is that brain fog isn't some mysterious phantom. It is the result of real, physical processes inside our body. And because it's physical, we have physical power over it. We've seen how that one simple food, the humble walnut, can launch a coordinated, 5-pronged strategy to reclaim our mental clarity. Think about what happens with that one small, daily change. You begin to quiet the smoldering fires of inflammation that create so much mental static. At the very same time, you are delivering the premium, flexible fats your brain is crying out for to rebuild its very structure, allowing thoughts to travel at the speed of light. This stronger, healthier brain then becomes a fertile garden, nourished to grow new connections and pathways, keeping you learning and adapting at any age. While all of that is happening, you're deploying a powerful antioxidant shield, protecting your precious neurons from the slow rust of aging. And to make it all possible, you are opening up the critical highways of blood flow, ensuring this torrent of life-giving resources gets delivered right where it's needed most. It's not magic. It is biology. And the most beautiful part of this story is that the hero isn't really the walnut. The hero is you. The walnut is just the tool. The power comes from your decision to use it. The power comes from your consistency. From the simple, intentional act of choosing to nourish your brain every single day. This is what empowerment feels like. It's the replacement of fear with a plan. It's the knowledge that your best, sharpest, most vibrant days are not just a memory from the past, but a future you can actively build, starting today. This is about being present for the conversation, remembering the story, finding the word, and fully inhabiting the magnificent life you have built. If this video has given you a sense of hope and a clear path forward, please help us share that feeling with others. You can do that by simply clicking the like button. It's a small gesture that tells YouTube this conversation is important and helps this video reach another person who might be feeling lost in the fog. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and become part of our health-focused family. We have so much more to explore together on this journey of aging with strength and vitality. Thank you so much for your time and your trust today. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to your brilliant brain. We'll see you in the next video.